Japan company gives non-snow skiing employees extra 6 vacation days to make up for cigarette breaks. Members of Mexico's Gulf cartel who kidnapped and killed Americans have been tied up, dumped in the street, and handed over to authorities with an apology letter. On the 6th of March 1981, Miriam Bachmoya fatally shot the man who killed her 7-year-old daughter, right in the middle of his trial. She smuggled a .22 caliber Beretta pistol in her purse and pulled the trigger in the courtroom. A new law in Iran has been issued by regime which forces female pharmacists to only wear bulk veil. Any other type of hijab or color is prohibited in workplace. As a response, male pharmacists are wearing it as well to mock this law. And as a courier is unequal pupils, if suddenly developed, it can indicate brain pressure from stroke, TBI, or other serious conditions. Rosemary Jacobs, who developed argyria from colloidal silver nose drops and has been an activist against alternative medicine for decades. James Webb Telescope captured the same galaxy 3 times because of the warping of space-time. Tibetan bulk diamond apple, actually deep purple, said to taste tart when first picked, but in storage, it mellows into a sweeter apple with notes of honey, vanilla and almond, and gets its colors and sweetness from the high UV exposure and altitude. About $7 to $20 per apple. Average number of children per woman, 1970 versus 2022. Jacarandas bloom in Mexico City. The story of the ingenious cheating system involving pens used by a law student at the University of Malaga, Spain, and of the amazingly carved Bic pens which were later confiscated. Romanian initiative, squat 20 times and get a free bus ride in Cluj-Napoca. The picture on the left shows the pillars of creation shot by the Hubble Space Telescope in 1995. The picture on the right shows the same region shot by the James Webb Space Telescope in 2022. Images of landing spot of Apollo 11 and Apollo 12 mission taken by India's Chandrayaan moon orbiter, proving moon landing deniers wrong. The crocodile, which is extremely camouflaged within the mud. This rectally inserted toolkit was issued to Central Intelligence Agency operatives during the height of the Cold War. The tools inside the kit included drill bits, saws, and knives. Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury recorded duets together, but clashed over Freddie's dog use and Michael's insistence of bringing his pet llama to the studio. The way light hits underneath the bridge, making it look like a crescent moon. The owner of this Parisian apartment abandoned the property in 1942 while fleeing the Nazis, but continued to pay rent until her death in 2010. The apartment was sealed since at least 1966, making it a time capsule from the early 20th century. Most of the artifacts are dated back to Victorian times. Smokey was found in an abandoned foxhole in the jungles of New Guinea in 1944. She is credited with 12 combat missions, awarded 8 battle stars, and survived 150 air raids. Because she wasn't an official military K9, she received no medical care and had to share her owner's rations. Dental work found on a 4,000-year-old mummy in ancient Egypt. A church in front of a mountain in Georgia. I thought this was in space at first. A rat broke inside an Indian ATM. Shredded $17,662 worth of Indian rupees, and then died. This is a 40,000-year-old steppe bison skull that was well preserved by Alaskan permafrost. Apparently the Taliban have now manufactured a drone that can carry 70 kg weight and has an operational range of 600 kilometers. During the pod racing scene in The Phantom Menace, the crowd was actually 450,000 Q-tips being blown by fans. Before Jim Jones founded the People's Temple and moved his congregation to Jonestown, Guyana, ultimately leading to the death of 913 men, women, and children, he made money by selling spider monkeys door to door for $29 a piece. The largest known structure in the universe, a void 1.8 billion light years in diameter, NASA planned collaboration. In 1997, a real-life version of The Simpsons house was built in Nevada. A woman won it, but she preferred to receive $75,000 instead. What a 10,000 plus horsepower top fuel dragster does to a tire at launch. This is skeleton panda sea sweats, a real marine creature first found in the waters off Kumi Island, Okinawa. I photographed this spider I found. An abandoned shopping mall in Bangkok is flooded by rainwater and is home to thousands of fish. Dignity is a beautiful 50-foot tall sculpture in South Dakota to honor the cultures of the Lakota and Dakota people. In late 1944, the Nazis launched Operation Elster. The mission was to land spars in Maine by submarine to spar for Germany. In the comments section is how the spars landed in Maine and how they ended up partying in New York City. What a hammerhead shark looks like under an X-ray, though we are uncertain why their head is shaped like that. Cliffside houses at Wangsan Valley. Boiled penguin eggs stay translucent due to stabilizing proteins. A tiger's tongue is so coarse, it can lick flesh to the bone. This phenomenon is called Lahaina noon. It occurs when the Hawaii sun is directly overhead and, being at a 90-degree angle, casts no shadow. Fort Bortange in the Netherlands, built in 1593, a typical 5-point star fort for the era designed to eliminate blind spots for the defenders, so attackers couldn't hide from cannon or musket fire when close to the walls. USAF's missile utility transformation via articulated nose technology, mutant missiles that twist in midair with articulated nose to hit their targets. In 2004, Michael Schumacher's Schuberth RF 1.5 helmet was a prototype made of multi-layered carbon fiber. It was so strong that they rolled a tank over it, and it stayed intact. The helmet cost around $20,000 at the time. It was this carbon layering technology that saved Felipe Massa at Hungary 2009. A cutaway image of London's Picadilly Circus underground station. Francois Brunel is a Canadian photographer that photographs people that look similar, but are not related to one another. Just the tip of a blue pen seen through a microscope. Another train derailment near Springfield, Ohio. Monument of Revolution, a World War II memorial sculpture dedicated to the people of Moslavina, Croatia. There is also a memorial ossuary of the remains of around 1,000 parties and soldiers. Iron gauntlet from a mass grave. Battle of Visby, fought in July 1361 on the Swedish Baltic island of Gotland, between invading Danish troops and the local Gudnish forces. Giant Sempervivum. Biggest I ever grew, with all its chicks flowering at the same time. March 5, 1953, the 600-foot-long, 70-foot-wide Marine Angel transited the Chicago River. The freighter had only 7 inches of clearance on each side at Van Buren Street and was the largest ship to ply the river. More photos and backstory. I've just been gifted the last will and testament of my 5 times great-grandfather. It was written in 1850. This is a 3540 Curie Cobalt 60 source. Cobalt 60 sources are used in radiotherapy, sterilization, and radiography. Drop and run is an appropriate warning, since a 3540 Curie Cobalt 60 source at 1 meter away will result in a dose rate of 3540 Rontgen equivalent man per hour. See I/M/REM rule, which will kill a person within 10 minutes. Wobble Gone Shark. Pic taken by my dad in Indonesia. The Mouse Mansion by Karina Sharpan. Cardboard or mixed recycled media. 2010. Before glasses were invented, people with poor eyesight used magnifying stones made from rock crystal to read. An Alitalia MD-11 had their cargo loaded incorrectly, which caused it to tip over to its back. Minister of Japan gives a stuffed squirtle to the Chilean president-elect. Saw a cat today. From afar I had thought she was one eye blind, but upon closer inspection. A core sample from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway showing 108 years of history starting with brick. Tunnel house in Taichung, Taiwan. The house was on private property, but the owner yielded the land for passage out of goodwill. Researchers in Vietnam discovered that 2 deer antlers languishing in museum storage are actually 2,000-year-old musical instruments. Rumpology is pseudoscience similar to palm reading performed by examining crevices, dimples, warts, moles and folds of a person's buttocks. As a part of a sketch in 1995, David Letterman's show attempted a street interview with a random man in Los Angeles. Unknowingly to them, that man was Mexican Aglo Draman Felix, who was on the run from US authorities. A 30,000-year-old cave painting of rhinos from a cave in France. It's the 4-year anniversary of the time I was reassembled. An image of the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richard structure captured from Google Maps, a geological feature located in the Sahara Desert so large it can only be fully seen from space. The oldest written customer compliance in history was written by a man named Nani in modern-day Iraq over 3,700 years ago. Oil platform Holly, 2 miles off the coast of Santa Barbara, California. C. metallodorans is a species of bacteria with the ability to separate gold from soil, contaminated with heavy metals. The bacterium eats copper, and since copper mixed with gold is highly toxic, C. metallodorans produces an enzyme that separates and excretes tiny nuggets of gold. A cenote between the entrance and the parking lot of my city's Costco. Why is there a dog in the drive-thru? Sun rays on Mars captured by NASA's Curiosity rover. The Black Stone is an Islamic artifact found in the southeast corner of the Kaaba. It is said that Angel Gabriel himself brought it from the heaven and was white, but turned black from absorbing the sins of humans. Which group are you in? Regarding pen size, 79% of males are growers and not showers. There are 2 kinds of male pences. There are 2 kinds of male pences, colloquially known as growers or showers. 79% of men are growers, while 21% are showers. Grower pences expand and get longer as they get erect. For example, if a pens was 5 inches before being stimulated, it could get as long as 7 to 8 when fully erect. A shower pens looks bigger when it's not erect. This type of pens does not increase too much after election. A teaspoon of 7 contains 5 calories, amongst other vitamins and minerals. 9. A teaspoon of sea mane contains approximately 5 calories. Upon repopulation, 2 to 5 million spam on average are released and can travel as fast as 28 miles per hour. Within the repopulate, small traces of over 30 different substances have been found, including nitrogen, fructose, lactic acid, ascorbic acid, inositol, cholesterol, glutathione, creatine, pyruvic acid, citric acid, sorbitol, uric acid and vitamin B12, along with various salts and enzymes. Ad in the Mail has a missing persons on it. She's been missing almost 57 years. She was only a year and 9 months at the time of her disappearance. This bonsai tree was planted in 1625 and has lived through a lot of history in its 400 years of existence. It survived the atomic blast in Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, even though it was only 2 miles away at that time. If 99% people find you unattractive, then around 75 million people on Earth still find you attractive. My self-confidence just shot up. In the remote Buddhist monastery of Haeinsa is preserved the Tripitaka Koreana, the most complete corpus of Buddhist doctrinal texts in the world, dating from 1251. Chinese dry-fried fish from the Warring States period, more than 2,000 years ago. Humans are fascinating. Often the most peaceful part of the day is piloting a steel death machine at high speeds, merging in between other steel death machines. And often the most stressful part of the day is worrying about something that might not even exist or won't ever happen. Photos taken at the summit of Mount St. Helens showing how the eruption of 1980 dramatically changed Spirit Lake and the surrounding area. The bottom photo is the lake today. Before. Mount Rainier. Spirit Lake. This view north from the summit of Mount St. Helens shows the pristine forest that surrounded Spirit Lake. Lower right, at the base of the volcano before the 1980 eruption. The snow-covered area above Spirit Lake is the Mount Margaret backcountry. Mount Rainier looms in the distance. After Mount Rainier, denuded hill slopes from lateral blast. Approximate site oil Harry Truman's Lodge. Spirit Lake, with downed trees. Pumice Plain. October 4, 1980. Walking across the legendary battlefield of Thermopylae. Aside from Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, the Romans also fought here, and even in World War II, Anzac forces fought the Germans. Zeljiva Air Base is a massive underground hangar and command facility with over 3 kilometers of tunnels / barracks / command center / and even elevators to the top of the mountain it is under. Today it is destroyed and abandoned. In England you sometimes see these wavy brick fences. And curious as it may seem, this shape uses fewer bricks than a straight wall. A straight wall needs at least 2 layers of bricks to make it sturdy, but the wavy wall is fine thanks to the arch support provided by the waves. Dad created plasma in the basement. Apparently it is the 4th state of matter and is created under a bike fume with high voltage. He has been working on it for a while and is quite proud of himself. She was 11 when World War I started, 36 when World War II started, 74 when Star Wars released, and 116 when Cupid 19 started. And her name is Kane Tanaka, as the world's oldest living person at age 118 years. She was born on January 2nd, 1903. Some dark stores in the Czech Republic introduced shampoo and shower gel filling machines. Customers can refill their empty bottles with various products, so they don't have to buy a new one every time. A rare optic sight, the Brocken Spectre, which occurs when a person stands at a higher altitude in the mountains and sees his shadow cast on a cloud at a lower altitude. I make drawings using the letters and numbers from old / unwanted typewriters, and here's one that I completed recently from a rooftop. If you've ever wanted to see a sunset on another planet, here you go. This beautiful sunset was taken on the Martian surface by Curiosity on April 15th, 2015. Camazotz, the Mayor Batman. In 2014, Warner Bros. Summoned 30 artists to reinterpret Batman on the occasion of its 75th anniversary. One of those who accepted the assignment was Christian Pacheco, owner of the design firm Kimball, based in Yucatan, Mexico. This was his design. The world's last Stone Age tribe lives on North Sentinel Island in the Indian Ocean, and they are known for defending their island against all visitors. Because they have been living in isolation for 60,000 years, there is genetically a direct line between them and their pre-Neolithic ancestors. Lyuba is a month-old woolly mammoth that died almost 42,000 years ago. She was found in Siberia with her skin and organs still intact and her mother's milk still in her stomach. She is the most complete mammoth ever discovered. April 28, 1988, the roof of an Aloha Airlines jet ripped off in midair at 24,000 feet, but the plane still managed to land safely. For the first time since his tomb was opened almost 100 years ago, King Tut's 3 sarcophagi will be displayed together at the new Grand Egyptian Museum, with the innermost sarcophagus made of 180 kilograms of solid gold. This lovely flock sits in the foyer of the Museum of Communication in Frankfurt. Made from telephone cabling and old handsets, they were one of the highlights of my visit there. Sculpture is Telephone Sheep by Jane Luck Corneck.